All right, guys, we're back to do Married at First Sight, season 16, episode 8. And 8 is a special number for me because I'm born on the 8th of a month, and my brother was born on the 8th of a month. My favorite cousin was born on the 8th of a month. So, and then 8 is also the sign for infinity. So yeah, just a few, a couple of facts about 8. So yeah, that's my number. So we're here to do, like I said, Married at First Sight. Man, okay, thoughts. I'm gonna go ahead and start with Gina and Clint. And the videos are clipped down there. Let's see what we got. Let's go look at them. Gina and Clint. Oh, okay, yeah, Gina's talking about she don't want to move in. And I see it. I see it from both sides. Because I agree with Clint that this is a process and this is something that they both agreed to. And I think it's worth it to put the time and effort in, even, if they decide, not to stay together. I'm saying that. That's what I understand him to be trying to say. That's not what Clint is saying, though. So he's saying some of it, but the part that I'm missing is his connection to her, not as a romantic partner, but just as a human being. I mean, even Kirsten is responding to Shaq as a human being, and she's not attracted to him either. She at least can lay, her head on his chest and feel safe and comfortable doing that, till she falls asleep. That's huge. Shaq is the man right now that they need to be taking classes from. And Clint, let me see. Even Chris got more game. Chris even got more game than Clint or, what's his name, McKinley. That is insane. Okay, because according to Chris and Nicole, they've consummated their marriage. Hello? And everybody looking at Chris, like he lame. Look, said Nicole gonna run all over. This is what Clint said. Nicole gonna run all over Chris. Chris is the man right now. And Nicole she is compromising. I know a lot of people out there, got something to say. Oh, well, she's serious about this marriage. And if that's something that she's able to compromise on, I don't see why she has to make a big deal out of being able to compromise on it. There's going to be something that's going to come up for her, I'm sure, that she's going to rely on him to be able, if he can. If that's something he can compromise on, then compromise, on it. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And that's the effort. I actually appreciate, what Nicole is doing. So, I was supposed to be talking about Gina and Clint, but let me see what I got. Oh, I also have just some regular show notes that I want to say. And I kind of be floating back and forth, between them. So, Gina, yeah, she doesn't want to move in, but no. And this is what your words do. And that's what this title, is going to be. Remember I said sticks and stones? Sticks and stones hurt, but so do words. They both hurt. And that's just one of the many, 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 many lies that we have been told, growing up, that has just warped our sense of humanity. It is just insane, the stuff that we have been told. And I'm here to tell it. I want you guys, I keep saying in your 20s, well, even, younger. If what I'm saying is age appropriate, for what you feel is a 19, somebody that's above 18 and above, then yeah, because this is what they're coming into. They're coming into this madness that we're talking about, right now. And they are going to have to make some serious, decisions. When I was turning, 18, life was different. And I still had to make, decisions, for myself. And I have to accept those decisions, whether they turned out, for my benefit, or not. And like I said, I'm a lemonade squeezer. So even if I make a bad decision, I'm going to try to figure out what I can get out of it so that, I can, use that as a knowledge base, for myself. And I just see, and even Clint agreed that there's no trust between them on the after show. So that's also clipped, down there. You should go and listen, to what he said. And I think it's on that one where I said that he admitted that they were both wrong. And, this is the damage that words do. And then he's going to need to be able to acknowledge, but they both are. They both are. And I don't hear them listening to each other. When they were even when she was giving him that information about her discomfort, she wasn't saying the whole discomfort. She just wanted to leave it at that I'm not comfortable. Well, just like he should have said something about why he's offended about being called a ginger. I still don't even know why he's offended by it. I mean, at least Eris had a story. Eris was like, well, I got ghosted 9 years ago, so yeah, I couldn't do that no more, and I was out. And then he was like, he got scratched on the head or something, by his grandmother's dog, and then, now he's got a thing with dogs while he's standing there stroking a puppy to sleep. Okay, Eris. The hypocrisy. Anyway, Gina and Clint. So these are the things, that we need to be able to look at when we're looking at shows, like this. And each person comes into this damaged. Damaged to the point that it's hard for them to find each other. All of the noise and all of the drama and all of the craziness has prevented them from being able to have this opportunity in time. And they're going to waste it arguing over the definition of athletic and slender and ginger. It is so ridiculous. And then when I hear people, especially black people, just bending, they all the way down on their knees in front of Clint. I am team Clint, slurp, 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 slurp. Like, what does Clint have? What is the aroma that Clint is giving off that all these black people feel the need to subjugate themselves in front of him when he has not shown me that he deserves that kind of loyalty, from me? All the way down from his tuxedo, that was the suit. It wasn't even a tuxedo on his wedding day. And the gift that he gave Gina. He gave her boating gloves. I have not seen anything, even listened to the after show, where she asked Clint, what is it? She asked him, what is it about Gina that makes you want to stay in the marriage? There was nothing about Gina in his answer. And that came straight out of his head. So if you can't believe something that's coming straight out of his head, then what will you believe? What is it that it's possible for Clint to do? So you want him to be able to rehearse it and then come back and tell you, I guess what it is that you want to hear so that you can continue to put him on the path to sainthood. Team Clint. And then what else do I have here? I think that she is being emotional about the conversation about slender, and athletic. And like I said, she too needs to communicate that to him. This is why this is so painful, for me. Instead of trying to defend that she's athletic, you are going to lose that argument, Gina. And I hope when they look back at this, that they're able to kind of see themselves the way that they weren't willing to see themselves, at the time. Very, 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 very important. Part of why I'm able to see things, both ways is because I actually had an epiphany. The Lord just exposed me to me, and it wasn't pretty. It was really not a lot of prettiness, to look at. So it really has given me perspective, and it really has helped me be able to understand the human condition, and coupled, with being in healthcare all of these years, and being in trauma, myself. I see what I understand trauma. I can sniff it out. I can see it, and we are living in trauma. And there's a video down there. There's a CNN video down there. I don't have it. Where was I going to talk about CNN? But anyway, I'll talk about it now. I was going to talk about it with Eris. That's what I have it written down. But I'll talk about it now. In that it's harder. It's harder for people to date. And I've been talking about this since I started. This is the point. I want you guys to get it. Please, again, go down there and look at it. But when I think about that video, and I think about Cleena, when I think about Gina and Clint, I see this. I mean, they both live in the same building, so they are both equal in their ability to be able to take care of their own physical, needs, but they don't have their emotional, needs met. So this is where this disconnect, is happening. Give each other your definition. He needs to let her know what ginger means to him, and she's letting him know what athletic means to her, athletic and slender. And they both need to be able to hear each other. Even if he doesn't agree with her, that's her definition of how she sees herself. And he's either going to allow her the space and the grace to have that, or they ain't going to be able to get along with each other. And him continuing to bring up the fact that she called him a ginger is not going to, it doesn't help. I mean, somebody has to be the one to say enough and to just let it go. Just really, and somebody's going to have to do it. As long as he's sitting there trying to defend himself over something that's just stupid and indefensible. Because she was embarrassed by you too, Clint. It wasn't just she was offended, by the way. She was embarrassed by you. You were embarrassing all the way up until you got on them horses. You were just chattering and running your mouth and just being, the behind of the horse. And all of that plays into it, especially when you run around talking about how positive everything. Oh, we're good. Oh, we're this and we're that. And this woman has been traumatized. She said that she's a runner. And a lot of people, especially Christians, and this is for non-Christians, I want you guys to understand this. This is so when you hear judgment, then you'll know, where it comes from. So with Christians, they can be a thief themselves, but then they'll despise a thief. But then they'll say that they covered under the grace of Jesus while they sit up and tell the other thief that they need to go to jail. It's like in the Bible where the servant owed the master some money, and then the master forgave the servant and said, yeah, you ain't got to pay me back. Go ahead, take care. And then the servant went and roughed up the person that owed them money. And so when the master found out that he had enough hubris to run around doing stuff like that, he was like, yeah, cousin, you got a problem. Now you got a problem with me. So how you going to judge this other person when I forgave you for the same thing? And this is the stew and the soup that we all living in that is called Christianity. And look, man, one of my goals in life is to get us out of this insane religion. And I am going to pontificate right here. Please give me grace. If American women take pity on the women in Afghanistan and in Iran and North Korea and wherever, you're in the same stew. And you're agreeing to a patriarchal system built on a foundation of lies. There is nothing solid about this foundation in this country. From the way from the beginning, nothing. There's nothing foundationally good about this country, and Americans don't want to admit that. See, but you want to run around telling everybody else how bad and how jacked up they are. That's why you got people like Putin that's tired of it. China and Putin are tired of hearing the stuff that's coming out of America's mouth because they see the hypocrisy. And now we're going to war because we hypocrites and we don't want to admit, what we're doing. But we'd rather go and point a finger at Russia and say, oh, well, y'all over here doing this. Well, what are you doing? Look at that mess that's going on over in Israel with the Palestinians, right now. That is insane. And we have kept that mess going. But then you want to be mad at China because they're friends with Russia. I'm not doing it. I ain't doing it. Y'all can do it. Y'all can do it. Y'all can go and vote for a nut like Joe Biden. And he is a head Christian nut. A war-thirsty, capitalist nut. Antichrist nut. Y'all voting for Antichrist. Both parties. Thank you for that pontification. Okay. So, yeah, I think Clinton's kind of, fluffing it up when he's telling Pastor Cal that he wants to be in the process. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because as uncomfortable as she is, shouldn't he be just as uncomfortable? I mean, I really wouldn't be comfortable with somebody that's not comfortable being around me. That would instantly make me uncomfortable. So, that was just, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Okay. So, yeah, I have down here Gina's insecurities. Like, you can see that she had work done. And that is a clue. That is actually a clue that men, for those, couple of you guys that are still out there hanging with me, if you see women and you see that they have work done or you see enhancements, y'all are going to have to fold that in, If you go back and look at the last season when Mitch was bitching about Christian, makeup and how he wanted a natural woman and this, that, and the third, when actually she was a decent looking woman. And by the time they ended, he didn't mind, trying to figure it out, at the end. And that's a space he just refused to give himself on the honeymoon. This is just a level of ridiculousness. And I wonder, do these guys even watch this show? Are you signing up for a show that you never watched before? Is that how they're able to hook these jokers into exposing themselves on national television? Because this is retarded, that I see these same errors being created. And that's one thing I actually appreciate about Shaq's conversation, with Kirsten. He's saying, I'm oversharing. That's something that Alexis was begging Justin to do last season, and he wouldn't do it with his crying self. And Chris is just knocking me out, with some Justin vibes. I get a whiff of Justin off of Chris every now and again. I meant to say that, in that last video. And you see women with work, recognize that and tailor your conversation, while you keeping it real. I mean, and look, I am to the point with men. I would do the same thing with you that I do with Christians. I'm not doing it. I am not. And I've already had one of those conversations. And it actually ended, I thought it ended well. It wasn't a bad conversation, but I did make myself, I communicated myself in that conversation. Let's let that be known. I'm not having it. If I hear insanity, I'm calling it out. Because I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Especially when I listen to these, reviewers. Denigrate women. You believe in something like Clint. And now they're accusing Gina of being shady. These are words now. These are words that are being posted about these people that we only see snippets of, okay? They're calling her shady. They're calling her petty. They're calling her, they're accusing her of just wanting to be on the show for the, for the salon. Have no information. All you got is what you got from Clint. And all of these accusations are being hurled at this woman. And this white man has been put up on this page. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I don't even understand it. And they did the same thing with Ben last season. Ben sat there and admitted that he did something wrong to Morgan. And they still defended Ben. It was insanity. And that's like I keep saying, this is why I'm here. This is exactly why I'm here. Because nobody else is going to tell y'all, you guys, this truth. Apparently, people just want to continue to live in some kind of fantasy land with these people on this show. I mean, it's a pot calling the kettle black, as far as I'm concerned. And then I want to be able to tie in the level of hypocrisy that I'm telling, and the danger of religion, because I have written here about offense. Christians do not understand the danger that comes from being easily offended. And one of the reasons why I really admire Jasmine is because she can accept and hear the truth from her husband. She says she asked him for the truth, and she's giving him her trust that he's telling her the truth. And that is a huge gift that she is bestowing down upon Eris as her husband. That is what, a wife is supposed to do. She is walking in Christ. And then I was watching some podcasts where this person considers themselves an academic, but then wants to sit up and tell Jasmine, you're a girl, you need to do this, that, and the third. She is walking in Christ. And I'm not going to discourage her from doing so. What I am going to do is ask the Lord to protect her in her walk. And this is the level of disconnect. And I wonder if that person considers themselves, to be a Christian. Or if they've, had any, Christian, or they think that they have, a level of Christian, understanding. That's how lacking you are in all of your academics. So you can have a PhD like Shaq and still be stupid about what the Bible actually says. All right. Are we still talking about Gina and Clint, or can I move on? Okay. Yeah, so I guess I'll take this little break because I don't have much about Chris and Nicole. They introduced the dogs, which I thought was great. I really like Nicole. She is just really I am just really hooking up with this girl's energy. And I just love that she's showing up for her marriage. This is what I'm looking, at the show for. And she's putting in that work. She's, like I said earlier, compromising. If that's something she can compromise on, child, yeah, let me go ahead. Yes. Let us get this. And that's what you should be eager, to do. And glad that this is something that you're willing, to do for your husband. And so, Chris, I think, is really asserting himself way more than people, I think, even her probably expected him to. Because he brought up the, after they introduced the dogs and, brought them into the apartment, he brought up their living situation in the future because his lease is coming due to, he has to let them know. Like, I have a 30-day, if I'm moving out, I have to let old boy know, 30 days before. So apparently he has a 60-day notice that's coming up that he has to figure out where he's going to tell them. And so that was his suggestion, is to just go ahead and renew for the 9 months and, just, I guess, figure it out, as they go. And I think it's like what she is doing with Charlie and his dog. It's an imperfect, perfect solution. Because he doesn't want to rush into a place with 3 dogs and a new marriage and job, and he doesn't even know where they're going to be together in 6 months. And just to be able to have that level of stability actually probably gives him an opportunity to trust her more. So I see Nicole is really, she is playing the Married at First Sight game very, very well. And I have to give her kudos. While everybody else, griping and moaning, I do share a concern that she does know her limitations. And right now, she's communicated herself to me that if she has a problem, I think Nicole is woman enough to verbalize, what she needs from Chris. And I think he's trusting her to be able, to do that and to be open to listening to whatever, the issue could be. And so I like that dynamic, between them. I do agree with Pastor Cal, and I did clip that down there, so you guys go check all that out. I agree with her and Pastor Cal that he should want to, do that. But I still see his point, as well. And like I said, I'm glad that Nicole could see that, too, and see that that's something that she's willing to compromise on. And yeah, like I said earlier, the consummated, their relationship. I think they're the first couple. So I'm not ready to talk about Kirsten and Shaq yet. So I guess I'm talking about Dom and McKinley. Oh yeah, I guess. Woo! After Gina and Clint, this would be it, huh? Okay, so where are we? They left McKinley's apartment, and now they're at Dom's apartment. And Dom says on her outtake that the energy that McKinley is giving off is, I guess he's like not in the best of moods. And they're coming off of that car ride from his apartment. So I can see his energy kind of going down between leaving between leaving his apartment and getting, over to hers. And this is the thing that he just doesn't want to understand. That will continue to follow him even after Dominique. This is the thing. Everybody wants to attribute it to that person when this is a character flaw that is really within you. He needs to hear what this woman is telling him. I think one of the reasons why Dominique likes older men is because this is kind of bullshit she don't want to have to deal with, with dating men her age. And he's actually, in her mind, I can see her in her way of thinking, this is exactly what she doesn't want, is an old young dude. You can't make decisions. You say you want somebody that is outgoing, and then when they show up, it's like, oh, well, I don't want to get on the boat. Oh, I don't want to ride a horse. Oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, I don't want to do that, but I want you to push me to do it. I mean, she wants somebody to go out and have fun. You say, let's go do this, and she's like, oh, okay. And she said, let's go do that, and you're like, oh, okay. That's what she wants. She doesn't want the bitching and the whining and the complaining like you some old man. This is like day what? 2? And now you starting, with the whining and the complaining. And now you're calling yourself a loser. You keep descending. She needs somebody with an attitude. She told you that. I heard her. The attitude that you present to her is going to give her that energy that she's going to need to come closer to you or to move further away from you. She said it to him. It's on camera. I heard it and I talked about it last week and he didn't hear a word she said. He is caught up in his feelings and now he's talking and wanting to bring up conversation that really in his mind is important, but is really disjointed from where she is. And he's making a bad situation worse. And I heard her when they were in the apartment and she was saying that she wasn't going to move in, but she's telling him that this is a safe time for her to separate because it gives her space to cleanse some of what she's feeling and what she's going through. because she has a lot. The problem is, this is what marriage is, Dominique. This is what it is, McKenna. This is why your mother was offering you $50,000 not to do it. And you couldn't see it. And now you in it, and now you're on national television. And another reason why I'm not going to feel sorry for McKinley is because, like I told y'all, he broke up with somebody to get on the show. And his mother helped sabotage him by asking Dom, what if he wanted to move to Michigan? He helped sabotage himself because his friend asked him just before he got married, do you think that she's going to have a problem with your living situation? It's clipped. Go down there and look at it. And the fact that he never figured out an answer to that question is exactly why he's in the situation that he in today. If he had given her an adequate answer, she would have been like, okay, hey, which side of the bed you want? But he couldn't do that because he's all caught up in his feelings. He has no game. He does not know what he's doing. He is drowning. He is in over his head. And she can sniff that out. Just like she can sniff out a muskrat or whatever it is, a possum or whatever it is that she got. And the other thing about that, if you go down and look at the video, where the flashback, go look at all the videos that I said is a flashback, and then you'll get this conversation that I'm talking to you about. And her mother, they're asking her, well, what if he's just a city boy and he doesn't like to hunt and fish and he won't kill a bug? And she's like, if he won't kill a bug, then that's a deal breaker because I'm not going to kill it. But you'll go out there and kill a wild boar. You'll tell me that you go out and bait a hook and go out and kill a fish and shoot something. But killing a bug is just a step too far for you. I can't. You can't expect me to listen to you better than you listen to yourself. I was never allowed to get away with it, and I ain't let nobody else get away with it either. I'm not accepting that. This is when people are talking, and again, look in the mirror while you're doing it. And if you recognize something, then you're going to have to relanguage. And I did like what she did on the after show, where Rudy was asking her something about Clinton and Gina, and then she was like, yeah, child, but I'm not one to talk. That was the perfect answer. Good job, Dominique. Good human work. Okay, so what else do I have? Oh, yeah. I remember when I was thinking about McKinley and the situation that he in, Steve Noy came into my head. And like I told you what his mom did to Dom at the brunch, asking her about moving to Michigan. Steve's dad jacked him up when he called him a vagabond in front of Noy at that brunch. And that was one of the torpedoes. And his own daddy did it to him. Didn't even know. Just running off at the mouth, just talking. And it just sabotaged, that whole marriage. It made her question him throughout that entire marriage. That was information that hung around in her ears, and it affected them. And so, yeah, they should be, people should be cognizant. Your words. These are what words, do. And so, what else? Mac said, oh, okay, yeah. I put it down there that she said that Mac is different on camera. And I'm not going to discount. I'm not going to discount that this could be true. I would like to hear what he has to say about it. I don't. And number one, they're beginning not to listen to each other. So you could see that in the car. Like, he was trying to have a conversation with her about the dogs. And she doesn't care about the dogs. And she's like, if you cared about the dogs as much as you trying to get me to believe that you care about these dogs, then these dogs would already be here with you. with all of your money and this, that, and the third. So miss me, you know, with it. And so on the after show, she was saying that they started to break down about midway into the honeymoon. So maybe when the, I don't know, they said that they were all over each other at that last dinner. So I think one of the things that is happening with McKinley as well is that he's sexually frustrated. And that's not a good combination, especially when the woman isn't picking up, you know, what you laying down. So it's like he's kind of in the same position that he was in before he got married, and now he's married. So I mean, I feel for him on that one, but yeah, no, cousin, you did not think about this, and that's another thing I think she's picking up on, is that your decision making skills are not that bright, because you should be able to communicate why you made the decision that you made. And if he had done that in a cohesive and concise manner, like I said, they wouldn't even be here. But he wants her to have an understanding about something that he himself can't even communicate. That don't even make no sense. And I ain't doing that with you, McKinley. Okay. And then I said too, even if he didn't have like personal things in the apartment in the basement that he's living in, those people are like family, you know, to him. So she could have taken more interest in the people that decided to give him that opportunity. I mean, that was a real opportunity to be able to go and live in a nice place, have a whole basement, you know, by yourself until you can figure your stuff out. That's a blessing. And he couldn't sell it. He couldn't sell it. So, like, I mean, the other part of that video that has come to my mind is, if you go back and listen to it, the CNN video is what I'm talking about. The man says, the guy that's being interviewed, he's like, oh, well, you know, there's a problem with the men. You know, the men are having esteem problems. They're having, you know, problems getting women. Their libidos are diminishing. And, you know, he's like, well, just because we had like a 3,000 year head start, that doesn't mean this, that, and the third. Yes, it does mean it. Yeah, it does. See, that's when I stopped listening to that video. That was the time when I understood and could communicate. But when he got to that part, I was like, yeah, no, I'm not accepting that. And it sounds like this Adam and Eve syndrome that we got going on in this country, where, you know, this is a system that was created by men. So now you want me to feel sorry for you because you can't make it in a system that you created for yourself. I don't even know what to do with that. And I'm not even going to make my mind. I'm not going to bend my mind. I'm not even going to try to bend my mind and try to understand no craziness like that. No. No, I'm not. I'm not going to accept that. I am not going to accept that. Especially when we all depend on men, and mostly white men, to be able to make a living in this. I am not going there. Woo! Okay. So I said that Mac has no game, and I said that earlier. And I see a lot of rational thinking and a lot of overthinking. Like, I think he's overthinking the dogs. They're not having a proper conversation about these dogs. And they did a flashback with Dom saying that she felt that, you know, dogs being on furniture and this, that, and it's disgusting. See, that's a huge word. That is a huge word. And because she doesn't have those, it's the same thing with this whole ginger, you know, discussion that we've been having. That strikes. As a dog and an animal lover, you know, I grew up in a house where all the pets were outside. There were no cats in the house. Even though my grandmother, you know, had a cat in the house, my mom wouldn't let cats in the house, and we couldn't have dogs, you know, in the house. And so now I have two cats, you know, in the house, you know, with me. And they have their little beds, you know. They're sitting on top of my bed, so they have their cat beds. And that strikes. And I've had dogs. My Labrador, he used to sleep in the bed, with me, and he was like my son. So, so when you use words like disgusting to talk about this, and this is the thing I've been hearing too with these reviewers, all of this judgment about people who have pets, when you're not going to give that person love, you're not going to stop a minute out of your day to say hello to that person, to see if they need something to eat, to care about what happened in their day. But you know who is there to listen and to be and give energy and love back to them when they can't find it nowhere in the world? That animal. And people who don't understand that about people in the animal community, the problem is with you. It's your problem. It's not their problem. They're getting love where they can get it. And I'm going to go ahead and let other people who are not in the black community know. This is when I'm going to let y'all know the junk that's happening in the black community. Everybody wants to sit up, jump up and down about Clint being called a ginger. Well, when I was growing up, because I'm light skinned, and I was even more light skinned then than I am now, and that was back in the 70s. And they used to call me white, knowing damn well that all my family was black. And the way they used to say it to me, I mean, it used to be a sneer. I mean, it was like, what? It was like being called a nigger. It really was. And these are from my own people. People who know my grandmother taught in the school. She taught in the elementary school that I went to, and they still did that to me. And this is the kind of cesspool mentality that's continued to permeate in the black community. And I see it in these reviewers. Oh my God, the stench of them. Why would you need to take sides in the situation before you even hear what the information is? I mean, everybody hating on Gina, and nobody even knew what the whole thing, really was. But by the time we all found out the information, oh, now you already got an opinion about you, Team Clinton, this, that, and the third. That doesn't even make any sense. And then you got people talking about they pastors. Child, I am so thankful. Woo, praise Jesus the Christos, okay? I didn't need any of them jokers to find out who he is. Praise the Lord. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no. And like I said, religion has put all of us in danger. We are all in danger. And you go and listen to that CNN video. Listen to the whole thing from beginning to end. This is where we are. Women, we are in danger. You run around here denigrating and refuse to continue to uplift and support each other. We're all going to fail. Young people, if you guys don't stop trying to point fingers and blame each other and take responsibility and stop listening to this mess that you're getting from your elders, you guys are going to have to draw the whole thing over again. Nothing they're talking about, it's all jibber jabber. You're going to have to start brand new. It's like Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden again. You guys are going to have to learn how to talk to each other and respect each other as husband and wife, as man and woman, as human and human. That is what the Lord is teaching in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And I promise you, if Christians worldwide actually did what he said, we'd be living in a whole different place. What else do I have? Yeah, so I have check your attitude, Mac. Yeah, his attitude is either going to help him or it's going to hurt him. So it's up to him. And I also like what Cal said to one of the couples. He said, this is your marriage. You could either make it successful or you can blow it up. It's going to be on you. And that's what they're doing. Over stuff that don't even... I did agree with Dawn, too, when she said that I'm not going to argue with you about dogs when we have so much other important things, that we have to discuss. And dogs that are not even here. So, yeah, I felt her. I really felt her. And everybody, a lot of people are calling her immature. No. She may be, like I said, overthinking. Like with the whole he could pick up and just move and she never hear from him again. I don't think that he would, he would do that. I think that's an irrational, fear. And I think she should give him some grace on, just trying to pull out of him, what his plans, are, instead of just like, reacting, to it. So I'm giving her grace that she's being human, because I know what happens to me when someone speaks to me in when you disrespect me in front of my face. I promise you, I turn it into something else, even if I don't intend to. So it's just the human response to trauma. It is just like that. I promise you. It's like when you see the shell shock, people. That is what happens. If they hear that pop, 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 and it's like, oh wow, and they respond to that sound, because that's what happened when they were in that traumatic event. And so when it gets inside of your central nervous system, that strong man, look, just don't. I promise you, this is the best me. You're not going to get a better version of me by treating me in a disrespectful manner. I am not going to. I haven't ascended to that level yet. And that's another reason why I appreciate Jasmine. It's really refreshing to see a woman really walking in Christ. And Eris at this point is not being as abusive as Chris was. It hurt me to see Paige go through that. I knew what she was trying to do. I really did. So I ain't judging her, for that. But that was some painful stuff. And I really am hoping that Jasmine will correct him on his speech, to her. And I didn't like it. He reminded me of Stasha when she's talking to Nate, well, you got to take your shoes off before you get in the house. And then she in his house when she's visiting him with her shoes in the bed. And then when Pastor Cal came over, Eris is sitting there with shoes on his feet. Well, he's sitting there barking out, instructions, to his wife. You can't even do the thing that you telling her that she's supposed to, is this going to be difficult for you to do? Well, tell your people, because my people already know. Well, what about you, Eris? Did you tell yourself? Hypocrisy. And then you expect me, to take you. I can't. I'm never going to be able to try to listen to you better than you listen to yourself. If I have to listen to myself and I have to hold myself accountable, then everybody's going to have to do it. Because I'm not, once I hear it, no, I don't tell you I'm not going to. I'll tell you I don't believe you. I like that Willie D. I'm going to put a clip of Willie D and Scarface. They're talking about the Grammys and that whole mess. I was really disappointed in Scarface. I used to be a Ghetto Boys fan. Oh, man, child, I could tell you some stories. But, so Scarface, I'm pontificating here. Y'all hold on with me. This is the point. So, they were in this group together called the Ghetto Boys. I mean, all the way back in the day. They went through some stuff together. When rap wasn't even what, it wasn't nothing that what it is, right now. But it was starting. And this group, oh man, they're out of Houston. And these guys, they did all of this together. And then now they're on the other side of life. And one of them had the opportunity to go to the Grammys and to perform. But what he didn't do was let the other dude know. It's like, man, they called me over here. This is a song that they want me to do. And I've asked them, can you come or whatever? And they said no. So I'm letting you know that this is the situation, just want to talk to you about it. And he just decided that he wasn't going to call him to talk about it, knowing that this is going to be broadcast, on television. So that's kind of like a passive-aggressive move. And I think that's what bothered Willie D, the most out of it. It's like, we talk all the time. You told me that you was just getting ready to go to the Grammys, but you didn't tell me that you was going to perform at the Grammys. So now you want to sit up and play like you don't know the difference. And you can just feel the negativity of that situation. And then with him sitting up trying to justify it, even to this day. It was really disgusting. I'm going to put it down there. And I really encourage you guys to go and listen to it, because this is what happens when you're in a relationship with a snake. And you just have to understand that either you're going to stay in this relationship with this snake and the benefit of whatever it is that you're going to benefit off of, or you're going to separate. And I think at this point, Willie D has continued to decide that he wants to associate with the snake that is Scarface. And Scarface sees Willie D as a snake. So they both see each other the same way. But then he's hurt when he gets stung by the snake that he knows he's in a relationship, with. And we just have to, be able, to tell the truth about it. I hang around people that I know they wouldn't do the same thing for me that I would do for them. They actually just wouldn't. And, I accept that. I accept a certain association. It's like I told somebody the other day, I'm not saying that you got to break your association with them, but you need to know what category, you want to decide to put them in, and how much energy, you want to give back. It's a personal, decision. And I really, like I said, admire Jasmine because she's taking this path. It's a hard one. And, she could be hurt because Eris could decide, that he doesn't want to stay married. But she's going to be the beneficiary out of that, regardless, whether they stay together in success or whether they decide to break up. She stays on this path, she's going to be okay either, situation. And so Dom she was talking to Pastor Cal. Was it her? Yeah. And she was saying that even if he had 4 roommates, that would be better than him living in somebody's basement in a nice house in a nice neighborhood. It's like, girl, what are you talking about right now? And that's when the 25-year-old Dom just kind of popped out. I think she's saying that she kind of wanted to be able to have some kind of reference to him. She didn't, all the stuff that was in that basement belonged to the family. None of it really belonged to him. So she still doesn't know who he is and what he's about. So I think that's what she was trying to say. But girl, no. I would never want to date somebody with 4 roommates. Are you serious? And then at 36, why would he want to have 4 roommates? At 36 years old, that just don't even make no sense. And so, yeah. And the last thing I have down here with them is that she doesn't respect his decision-making skills, especially being, as old as he is. He needs to be able to communicate himself, better. So, Shaq and Kirsten. Ugh. I really don't have anything, for them. The stuff that I have is already clipped down there. I think Shaquille is still trying to make the best out of a bad situation. I kind of wonder with Kirsten, because she knows that she's not attracted to this man. She knows he's attracted to her, and that he wants to be closer in a way that she doesn't. He's still kissing her on her forehead, and he thinks that means that she trusts you, and she's giving you grace to touch her forehead with your lips. You still don't have that grace and acceptance to put your lips on her lips. Her granddaddy can kiss her on her forehead, Shaq. And I still, admire his he's looking at it in a positive light. So I'm willing to just sit and check it out. What else did I have, for them? That conversation with Pastor Cal. I don't know that I agree that she's taking all of this upon herself. I see her, and then looking at that apartment. The thing I would have accepted, I actually would have accepted that she's a minimalist until I saw that closet. Because a minimalist wouldn't need any more than 1 or 2 purses. And that's for a special occasion. Like if it's my day purse, I may not want to take it when I go out, on, for a nice, evening. So she wouldn't be having a whole lot of purses. She wouldn't be having a whole lot of shoes. Her, like he said, and he even saw it with the whole books and the papers and all. If she is organized as she is in the rest of the house, her closet would reflect the rest of the house. So, and then I have down there a clip where I'm asking you guys if you believe what she said on that video, and I just don't. I don't. I don't. And when she's agreeing with Clint, that is the side of her that is agreeing with Clint. It's about her and her trying to, figure this out for her. But I did appreciate that she did say about their relationship and, how they and we. I didn't hear Clint say anything about they and we. And I like Dom's answer that she leaning on the Lord. And I appreciated, her saying that. So I'm going to keep my eyes on her. And I think, am I done? I talked about, I got 4 more minutes. What do I want to talk about? Oh, yeah, I guess so. If I can finish this. For me personally, and thank you guys, for hanging in there with me. I have a lot of resentment. I have resentment, towards this country. And like I said, I have resentment, toward my community. And I have resentment, toward men. I can identify. I've taken care of patients who are poor, and I've taken care of patients who are rich. And the thing that brings them all together is that they get the same IV, they get to lay in the same hospital bed, they get to pee in the same basin, they get wiped with the same towels, they get the same nursing care plan, they get the same medicine. I mean, there is a time in life where your status and what you did and all this, that, it doesn't matter. The thing you become is a human being. And I've been privileged, to actually be able to see people in their human state and to allow me the opportunity, to care for them. My patients were the thing that actually kept me alive at a time when I couldn't get any support in my working space. So I really do appreciate, everybody, out there that I took care of that gave me, that opportunity to do that. I learned a lot, and I consider myself a better person, because of that experience. But like I was telling y'all the story about, being called white, I was not accepted, in my community. I wasn't accepted I'm not accepted in my family. I'm not accepted in my community. I don't feel like I'm accepted, in society. And it's really challenging. I mean, I'm doing everything I know how to do to turn my situation around and make it positive, for myself. But it's been challenging. And I mean, like I've been looking at the positives. I've been looking sideways, upside down, diagonally, everything. And I'm still searching, for the answer. One of the things that has come to me is what I'm doing now to try and give you guys the opportunity to tell you stuff that nobody was there to tell me, when I was coming up. And it's starting, because you guys are going to have to make, some real serious decisions. And I encourage you to learn as much as you can from other people. If it's a situation that you don't have to go through yourself in order for you to find out that truth, child, that's the easy way. Because it gets harder and harder. The lessons get harder and harder until you knocked out. And it's a challenge because I have a love for this country. I have a love for people, and I have a love for the black community, and I also have a love for men. So I live in a paradox, and it's painful, very painful. And like I said, I'm here because I see the error. I can go, like if I were, and I can't diagnose, nurses cannot diagnose, but I can imagine a doctor diagnosing, a patient, and they see the problem. They see one of the problems that's causing these symptoms and it's causing this, disease process. And we are in serious trouble. Please continue to consider what I'm saying to you, especially about Christianity. People like O'Shea Duke Jackson, they always talking about we gotta own, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. Owning things with the mentality that black people currently have, it's not gonna solve that problem. You're gonna have to come out of religion. And I'm talking, girl, please. Any women out there, please stay away from a man that's in religion. Just stay away. They just, oh, child. You already know. All right, so I'm at an hour. And I'll see y'all on video number 9. Episode number 9. Subscribe, like, comment, support my channel. Thank you.